Hello! Now, a new day breaks and it's landed us on our feet, ready to take off as usual.
Yes, the most exciting part of taking off is knowing we are not alone. Never have and never will be. We are taking you along with us every single morning.
You already know this, but we like to reiterate it anyway. It is every Wednesday, the women of Wake Up Nigeria taking center stage, and we bring you a Wonder Woman experience.
Of course. Now, we will be spending the next 1 hour and 45 minutes with you, and we know we can count on you to be with us every step of the way.
So grab that cup of coffee or maybe tea. You're definitely going to need it in this weather. Haven't you noticed? Hamatan has finally come.
It's cozy. Now, the Hamatan is finally upon us. Who else is excited about this?
I don't know. My skin is dry, actually. I need hand cream.
No, please, now this is the best time to moisturize. Use all your body treatments because it's definitely going to work. It's definitely going to work. Now, let's get the show started already. My name is Tokwe Oloniyo.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. TVCentertainment.tv is the website you can use to watch us live, or you can watch us live on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Now, we'd like to hear from you. Now, we put a post already on our social media pages. Now, go there, check what we're talking about, drop your comments, use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC on all our platforms, and let's get to know what you think.
So much activity on that hashtag these days. Honestly, so many people saying so many different types of things, telling us how great we look. You look amazing in pink, by the way. We have so much to do on today's show, but in case you might miss it, just download our app so it can be with you. iOS, Android, whatever you use, you have access to our premium content wherever you go.
Yeah, now, so what are we starting with this morning? Our first stop this morning is nutrition with dietitian Ebenezer Miracle, who will be joining us to a very prevalent health issue in the society, diabetes, and the daily habits that could help manage the problem. And
then we move on to a musical performance from Afro dancehall artist Christiana Ademuyiwa. Now, you probably know her by the name Rebel, and it's going to be a really interesting conversation and performance.
I'm sure. On relationship, a mentor, Toju Oluwatoyinbo, will be taking on the very sensitive question of how does your spouse impact your mental health? Is verbal abuse as bad as physical abuse? That is very important, and you definitely want to stick around to learn a thing or two.
It's about time for the news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari has finally bowed to several months of widespread demand for the reorganization of the country's security architecture. The president said and approved the appointment of the military officers to superintend the nation's armed forces. The former service chiefs were appointed on the 13th of July 2015. The newly appointed security chiefs include Major General Leo Irabo, who replaces General Abayomi Olunisaki as the Chief of Defense Staff. Major General Atahiru takes over from Lieutenant General Tokuro Buratai as the new Chief of Army Staff. Rear Admiral A.Z. Gambo takes over from Vice Admiral Ibok Ekwe Ibas as the Chief of Naval Staff. And the Air Vice Marshal Amao replaces Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar as the new Chief of Air Staff. This is the first time the service chiefs are being replaced since the present administration. The president also appreciated the outgoing chiefs for what he described as overwhelming achievements in maintaining peace in the country. He, however, wishes them well in their future endeavors. TVC News correspondent Sifon Essien takes a look at the profile of the newly appointed service chiefs and what Nigerians are to expect in the coming days.
The former military chiefs were appointed on July the 13th, 2015. After completing an initial 2 years, the president extended their tenure on December the 18th, 2017 for another 2 years, meant to have elapsed in 2019. The reason, according to a statement by the Minister of Defense at the time, Mansur Dan Ali, was because of the ongoing military operations across the country. All the service chiefs except Lieutenant General Buratai joined the service in 1979 and have spent at least 40 years in service. Their continued stay in office attracted a lot of criticisms due to the worsening security challenges in the country. The appointment of the new military chiefs is coming at a time when the services are overstretched due to engagement in multiple theaters and security operations in all the 6 geopolitical zones.
The secrecy of
Kabiru Adamu is a security risk management and intelligence expert. He says the new chiefs have to face the security challenges head-on and implement new strategies.
Security challenges affecting Nigeria. Terrorism is at the forefront of this. Then very recently, banditry came up. And then the other several ones like the secession threat in the southeast. And then, of course, other criminal activities that the military has been involved in. So that would be number one, really.
He believes the issue bedeviling jointness across the services has to be adequately addressed.
The perceived lack of cooperation within the military units, especially the Army and the Air Force. There is a lot of information out there suggesting that there is this lack of cooperation between them. And then the issue of welfare, especially for the frontline soldiers. And then thirdly, the confidentiality of military and other security operations.
The new chiefs are to be promoted and decorated with their new ranks at a ceremony by the president any moment from now. Their elevation will pave the way for the retirement of their seniors and even their classmates. Sifon Essien, TVC News, Abuja.
Welcome back. It's about time for us to take a quick look at the headlines in the dailies this morning. And we're going to start with the Vanguard newspaper. Cheers, jeers, hope as new service chiefs take over. We hope the new service chiefs will justify Buhari's confidence in them, say the ACF. Nothing special, say Afenifere. And wrong to not have a Southeast appointee, Middle Belt Forum, say. It also shows pictures of the new service chiefs right there in the photo story. Meanwhile, CBN announces appointment of 3 pre-shipment inspectors. Page 9 has more on that. COVID-19, another lockdown will wound economy, says CBN. Those who burnt my house will run mad in 48 hours, says Igboho. We have another one here. Catholic bishops want service chiefs to allow Amotekun others to thrive. One feared dead as Shiites police clash in Abuja over El Zakzaki. And Yabatek loses staff to COVID-19, shuts hostels. That's what we have on the cover of the Vanguard. We also have the Punch newspaper with us as well. 20 generals may go as Buhari replaces Buratai and service chiefs. Courses 34 and 35 members to be worst affected. It says Army chief to retain some. President failed on security, says ACF. Forum praise for new service chiefs. Moving to the top of the page there, it says high recruitment expenditure raises debt servicing challenges, according to CBN. And slash on imported vehicles duties begins next week, according to Customs. Exporters, importers' woes worsening at ports, laments LCCI. And I will wrap up with this one. NECO postpones GCE, reschedules papers missed during NSAS. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch. I have the newspaper, the Nation newspaper here. And it says, what we expect from new service chiefs by Nigerians. Generals, leaders, lawmakers, others set agenda. There will be fresh onslaught, says presidency. Of course, the pictures of the new service chiefs are there on the cover as well. Igboho says here, some Yoruba leaders backing criminal herdsmen. Those who set fire to my house are cowards. And then the story starts there on the cover, wraps up on page 29. Amotekun intercepts herders with guns in Oyo. Relocating herders destroy 10 million naira worth of crops in Ekiti. And I'll wrap it with this. It says, waiting game continues for ambassadors designate as ex-governor forfeits 700 million naira to government. That's what we have on the cover of the Nation. Let's see. We have also the Guardian newspaper here, and it says Nigerians react as Buhari appoints new service chiefs. Ex-defense chief minister asked Nigerians not to expect much. And YC security scholar Lord's appointment. And I'll wrap it with this one. Oil-producing communities tell federal government to scrap NDDC. More information on that story on page 4. And that's all we have time for when it comes to the headlines in the dailies for this morning. We have quite a bit coming up after this. Welcome back. Now, Chude always has those little anecdotes that we need in the morning. Thank you so much for that one.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like the world needs so much. And if, for instance, I had the kind of money to make things happen, what exactly would I do? Mary is joining us right now on the couch, looking all bright and beautiful.
You make it sound
looking
like
all
I
peaceful.
disappeared. Oh, yeah, looking all peaceful. There's actually a reason for that. I was kind of like in Daboski this morning because I was really upset.
You were terror by day.
I'm a whole lot better. I have a big problem with not being able to keep my temper, you know, stretch for a long time. The moment I explode,
Burst.
Yeah, you let it
I
go.
forget in like a minute.
Thankfully, we're all here to, you know, make sure that you stay calm.
We
and keep
really
your
didn't
cool.
help that, Titi.
We
but
did.
Okay.
We did. Trust
We
me.
listened
Because
to
we could have added our own salt
Titi
and
turned
pepper.
you to Amber and Ruby to
Oh boy, but you girls look gorgeous.
Thank
Your
you.
pink
Thank
is
you.
like everywhere.
This is all Betty.
Oh wow!
Shout out to Betty.
It's a two-piece or a dress?
It's a two-piece,
Oh,
yeah.
nice,
And
nice.
Betty got me hooked. But it's not like it was free.
Okay.
I paid.
The way you were talking about it, as
because
if-
Betty would not start
That's
feeling
lovely.
too nice.
I have to bring you back, though. I have to bring you back to the topic, you
Yeah.
know, because we sent out a tweet yesterday on this. If you're not following us yet, follow us at TVC Connect. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. What would you do for humanity if, for instance, money was not a problem? You know, I really want to talk about this because there are quite a few. They say the 1% of the 1%, right? Have the money to make
like
things
we're
happen.
meant to be during that party that we gate
Oh,
crashed.
High
You
five.
get crashed at party? Wow.
Titi,
I'm
it
just
was
saying,
three of
I'm
us.
just saying. Hey,
Titi,
no, I
our
don't
warrior.
get crashed. I'm invited. I don't get
Titi, our fighter.
Titi, our food warrior.
That's another
warrior.
story for another day.
Yeah, but for today.
We can't wait to share that story. In fact, it's funny that the three of us that were there.
Oh, you people.
Oh, yeah,
don't
Titi
out
was,
me today.
let's be prim and proper.
Yes,
Okay. Oh, yeah,
you have
everybody.
to. I mean, we're the
Yes,
ladies of
yeah, we're
Wake
the
Up Nigeria.
ladies.
Exactly. But seriously, Mary, I speak 2 billion naira into your account today.
Amen. Me in the laughter, I heard that
I
one.
speak another 2 billion into your account today.
Amen.
But what would you do to help your country, help your world if you had that kind of money?
As in with the 2 billion naira that I just prayed for.
Yes, no.
That we've not collected.
Well, why is it that we have that mentality, though?
So
we
no,
have this
speaking about
self-preservation
this,
thing.
So when I lost my grandparents in September, it inspired this thing that you said. And I said, if and when I'm blessed with that kind of money, I would like to open care homes for elderly people. So that when your parents or your grandparents are old, you don't have to leave
Leave
your
them to
life.
their
Leave them to So more like care homes with people that are trained to actually care for them, to follow their medications, know when they should go for routine checks, know when they might need to upgrade their medications or when they need to reduce. You know, people that are actually trained, not just leave them.
They're
like
not
that.
many
So
of
I
those.
feel
Not
like you
many,
and
yes.
I grew up with that kind of thoughts in our heads.
Yeah.
Because me, I'd actually had that even before September. As a child, I always wanted to have two things. I always wanted to have a care home. Note, not old people's home.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just care home.
That's why I really love the fact that it was like you literally took the words out of my mouth, because old people's home sometimes is where people just go to dump their parents and life goes on, and sometimes they don't really take care of them.
But they're not
you see,
enough
care homes
here,
is like being in a hospice. That there's this particular building in Lassus that is not for regular patients.
Okay.
You pay like 100K.
Okay.
Yes, inside the same compound.
Okay.
If you don't have that kind of money for your elderly parents, believe me, there will be. Let me not
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
more
I
than
get
that. But
you.
So a care home where even when you don't have so much, you can still get excellent care for your parents. And then I'm sorry I have to use the word poor, but a poor house. And it was inspired as a child by Oliver Twist.
Oh, God bless you.
I always have wanted to have a poor house where people can, one, crash when they are homeless, two, have food, at least 2 hot meals every day.
So what the term I think they use these days is shelter.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are not enough shelters here.
Do we even have shelters?
I think there are a few, but they're not as well equipped as they should be.
Yeah.
And it feels like there are quite a few people that have these funds and just, they don't care. Well, they've not shown interest. I won't say they don't care. They've just not shown interest in it because in some cases, it doesn't bring extra finance to them.
But then, you know, that's us talking about even when there's money.
Yes.
But you haven't even talked about yours, so we'll now talk about when there's no money.
Well, mine has always been for childcare, you know. There are a lot of children all over the world that have not got the access to education, access to food, clean water. I've always wanted to try and do something in that particular area. I know there are quite a lot of charities doing that. It doesn't sound very original, but no matter how many charities are already doing it, there's still room for more.
Okay, so it's actually good that you've said it. Maybe when we are doing social media, 3 of us are going to now give our own opinion on what if there was no money to do it. What would we do? Because we need to talk about that.
Without money?
So we are talking about without money, even though we've been giving when we have 2 billion.
2 billion.
But it's okay, we are talking about
somebody
when we
should
don't
speak
have
the 2
money.
billion into my own.
I speak 1 billion, so you talk this remaining. She won't have more than us.
Aggressive 1 billion.
I've collected it. Thank you.
Just kidding, though. We need to take this break.
Yeah.
Welcome to the kitchen right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Today, the chef is Chef Blossom.
Morning.
The one who blossoms. How are you doing today? Great to have you in the studio with us.
Very well. Good morning.
Okay, so what is for breakfast?
Okay, we're making our ayamase sauce.
Ayamase sauce.
Yes, with ofada rice.
Okay. Looks like I'm attracting ofada this week. Looks like I'm attracting it. Monday, Wednesday. Okay.
It's also known as designer stew.
Designer stew.
Yes.
Hey, Blossom Sports designer stew. Okay, so what are we making use of to prepare this designer stew?
Okay, we have the ofada rice.
Okay.
Here, properly washed.
Okay.
And this is the mixture of green bell pepper and habanero pepper, green habanero pepper.
Oh, it's bell pepper you're making use of?
Yes. And
Sis, do you know the cost of bell pepper?
it's expensive, but that's where you get like the original.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So it's blended and cooked.
Was that all you put? No onions, no
And
garlic?
onions, yes. And
Garlic,
ginger. And ginger.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
So this is our bleached oil.
Perfect.
We're also gonna heat for a bit.
See?
Then this
Fire alarm.
Then this is the meat stock.
Okay.
Then our plantain to garnish.
Okay.
Oil, vegetable oil to fry the plantain.
Okay.
Then our beef, our
Okay.
cow skin,
Okay.
locust beans, popularly known as iru.
Yeah.
Yes. And then this
Orishi.
assorted.
Those are the
And then these
offals
are egg. We'll get to peel them. Then crayfish, and the crayfish is actually optional. Not everyone likes to use crayfish. And then these are seasoning and salt to taste.
Okay, looks like
And
we're
then
set to go.
onions.
And onions, of course.
Yes.
So what's the first thing we're doing?
First thing, I'll put my oil into the pot.
Okay.
Waiting for the pot to heat up a bit.
Okay, I know we're already boiling water to
yes, for
cook
the
the rice. So the rice should be ready soon enough.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
So we're just waiting for the pot to heat.
okay. So
So
first thing
add
we're
in-
going to do is to
Put in the oil,
the palm oil.
the palm
Okay.
oil, yes. And when the oil is heated up for a bit, because it's already bleached, and also I put in the onions.
Okay.
I'm going to dice the onions, and then the iru,
Okay.
and then the pepper, and then I start frying.
Okay. Okay. Now I've observed something. Every chef has their own style of making ofada sauce.
Ofada, yes.
And so I actually find it very exciting that I get to learn 2 different ways to make ofada rice in 1 week, because this is a bit different from what I
really?
got earlier. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to telling you what it tastes to be. You know, of course, you can check my diary for that. I'll tell you. Okay, so the eggs, they are essential parts of ofada. I've observed that it's almost impossible
To cook
to
ofada
make the sauce without
the
it.
egg,
But
yes.
if you're just tuning in, the ingredients are currently on your screen to make the ayamase stew. That's the ofada stew. So you might want to scribble them down quickly. I know for sure that Titi is standing by with the nutritionist. So as you scribble that down, let's head straight to Titi right now.
Yeah. Nutritious.
Where's the camera?
Seeing right there. Oof, looks like it's going to be a powerful stew today. We're talking nutrition at this point on the show. We have the amazing dietitian, Ebenezer Miracle. Now, he's joined us to talk about a very prevalent issue in the society today, diabetes, and, of course, the daily habits that could help manage the problem that people are living with. There are quite a lot more people living with it than we even realize. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you very much.
All right, so as a nutritionist, you probably come across quite a lot of people who are living with diabetes and probably don't even know it yet. But just for those that don't know, could you give a breakdown of what diabetes refers to?
Okay, in a layman's term, diabetes is the inability of the system to be able to control the blood sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, because of an organ that releases insulin. Okay. Insulin helps to take blood sugar into the cells, but when the insulin is not produced enough or the insulin doesn't work at all, then it leads to a spike in blood sugar. Okay. And for those that don't know, if they have diabetes, there are signs that you should use to say, okay, it might just be diabetes. You might get too thirsty over a period of time.
Wow.
Yeah, you might get too thirsty, you might get too hungry over a period of time. After eating and you still notice that you're very hungry, after drinking water and you still notice that you're very thirsty, then in the night you are always going to the toilet like 5 to 6 times in the night, and you know you didn't drink enough water in the day. So those are very little of those kind of things that you know that. And maybe if you get a cut and it doesn't heal immediately. Okay. So if you don't think you are living with diabetes, but you see those signs, I guess you should just visit the doctor to be sure about it. Yes.
Okay. So some people, visit the doctor and then they get that sad news that, they have diabetes. But then we've heard doctors say type 1, type 2. What are the differences?
The type 1 and type 2, the type 1 mostly is seen in children. It's called juvenile diabetes. Okay. While the type 2 is the one that's seen in adults from 18 years. So a child of 1 year old, 2 year old can have the type 1 diabetes. Wow. Yes, that's a juvenile diabetes. And the type 2 is for those very, very middle-aged ones and older ones.
Okay, so let's talk about food and meal choices now for people living with this issue. Now, we've heard, that there are some foods that have more sugar than the others. Could you give a basic diet plan for someone living with diabetes?
Okay, before I run straight to a diet plan, I would say this. There are 2 types of sugars. There's sucrose and there's fructose. Okay. One of them, sucrose, goes directly into the cells, and the other one goes to the liver to be metabolized by the liver. The one that is more of concern is the sucrose. Okay. And majorly, every food has starch. Every food has sugar, so you can't run away from sugar at all. Yeah. Or you can run away from sucrose in a way. Okay. The major thing we remove from a diabetes diet most times are sugary drinks and the table sugar. Okay. Yes, and other additional sugars.
So table sugar, that's the sugar you put in tea,
coffee, right? Oats, and every other thing. Yes, and other additional sugars. There are other additional sugars like there's honey, there's dates powder, but those ones are also both sucrose and fructose based, so they can still be added in little quantities. But for sugar, totally that one should go. Now, a basic diet for diabetes, like I said, every food you eat has sugar in it, has carbohydrates in it. Apart from if you want to live on just eggs and fish. And oil, that won't be possible. So what you do is, the basic thing we do for them is know that every food has sugar. Then what you do is just bulk your food with enough vegetables, leafy vegetables. Well, you can also choose from there are different types of vegetables. Yeah, there's leafy vegetables and there are other culinary vegetables. So bulk it. When I mean bulk, I don't mean a handful. Yeah. I mean your plates, as I mean this is your plate, half of it should be your staples, and half of it should be the vegetables, and any other choice of what you want to eat there.
So when you say vegetables now, we think of vegetables in most cases as vegetable stew, vegetable soup. There are many types of green leafy vegetable soups out there. Yes. So are those the type of vegetables you're talking about? Or others?
No, there are others also. Those types and others also. Because it's what matters actually is the fiber content. Okay. Yeah, the fiber content is what matters actually. If I want to go scientifically, I would say fiber content should be like 15 grams to 30 grams. But you can't do that with your eyes. We know how to do that. So we just tell them, do half of your plates vegetables. So there are leafy vegetables like the ugu, the pumpkin, or the spinach and other things. And there are other vegetables that you can term them culinary vegetables, like the cabbage, the spinach, the cabbage, the broccoli, the what do you call them? Carrots,
Yeah.
yes, cucumbers and all those things. Garden egg, yes, those ones are also vegetables. So, so that you don't get tired of eating the leaf. Some people say, I don't want to be a goat, I don't want to go to a dietitian. So you don't get tired of eating the leaves. You can do those things too, tomatoes and all those things. Yes.
So if, for instance, you know, someone got to the doctor in January, and they were informed that they had this, are you saying that if they shift their diet to what you just advised, half their plate having green leafy vegetables or other culinary vegetables, they will see improvement? If yes, how long would it take?
They would see improvement almost immediately.
Okay.
Yes, it's almost immediately because the body recognizes that there is now, because it's a long process. But let me just break it down a little bit. The body recognizes, without that kind of diet, the body sees more sugar. It's just like a town is asking for water, but the water supply, something is blocking it. So they keep asking for water, and the other part of the town is sending water. But the town that is asking for water is not getting because the water supply is blocked. But when the water supply, whatever is blocking the water supply is removed, now they can now get water. So that's what the fiber does, the high vegetable does. It takes out the excess glucose and allows for the other glucose to go to the other side of the town. So immediately you start that, you start seeing your results almost immediately with your medications also.
All right then. Now I have to say thank you so much, Ebenezer, for coming to talk to us. You know how to break it down in very simple ways, and I have a feeling someone out there has learned something today. Please reach out to us on social media. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC at TVC Connect. Ask him a question, and he might just be able to answer you online. We have to take a quick break, but we will be back after this.
Welcome again to the kitchen. Chef Blossom is still blossoming. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's so good. So this morning, just as we said earlier, we are making ayamase sauce, the ofada sauce, just as you know it. And as you can see, it's usually quite a spread because she says it is designer sauce. Is this stew or sauce? Either way, Jerry, it's a designer. So if you want to do something to impress your friends and family, just make sure you get the process right, okay? All right, so we already talked about the ingredients we're making use of. She already ran us through the process. Now we are going to show you the process. First off, we have our oil. Yes. So tell me, you should share with us what we've done so far.
Okay, so the onions is in here already, the diced onions. So allow to fry for like, let's say 5 minutes.
Okay.
Then we'll put in our iru, locust beans.
Okay.
So as
the palm oil, by the way, has been bleached.
Bleached, yes.
Now, there are some people who make ofada sauce with oil, with groundnut oil. Does that work?
I don't think it works. You know, people and their preference. Whatever works for you is fine.
So, I've actually seen someone who made very tasty ayamase sauce. Oh, we forgot session to start. But that's what hot oil does sometimes. Okay, so the person made use of vegetable oil, but you're not recommending it if you really want to get the right taste, are you?
Groundnut oil, you mean?
Yeah.
No. Red oil, palm oil is like what is best for ayamase. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so if you're making your
some persons
ayamase
might want to go
sauce,
some persons might want to go to that length because they might feel like, okay, it's healthy for them. And maybe because of the flavor or the taste, they want to have some different taste.
Yeah.
Almost fun.
It's just like cooking egusi soup with vegetable oil or vegetable soup with vegetable oil. People do that, and it usually comes out really
very nice.
So it's all about preference. There was a time we used to believe moi moi can be made with vegetable oil,
now
just palm oil. But now, I think, especially if you're buying it outside, you're likely to buy the one made with vegetable oil. Okay, so we're going to put the plantain. Looks like the oil is screaming at us. I'm ready. So now that we've put in the locust beans, what goes in next?
Okay, we'll put in our ayamase blend. This green pepper.
Okay, so the ayamase blend goes in next.
Yes.
Okay. So while the plantain, so serving there was a funny question I asked on Monday. When you're serving ofada rice, there's almost always plantain, and the plantain is almost always diced. Like you have to have it cubed and all.
And I think the reason is because you don't want to eat rice and have to scoop your rice with big
Plantain.
So everything is supposed to be
yes, almost the same
chewy
size. Yes, so
size.
just I think that's the.
But there's also a funny question I asked about the ingredients are on your screen right now, by the way. Ayama says to you, check out the ingredients we're making use of so you can catch up if you've missed any part of it. So I was saying that beans, can it be served with beans?
You mean ayamase sauce?
Yes,
why not?
you can. So you have your fada rice.
Yes.
That would be a party to attend. Or fada rice on one side, plantain on one side, you have the sauce on one side, you have beans on one side, you have coleslaw on one side, and you can't go home because your tummy is too big. Good luck to you on that one. Okay, so this is what the sauce looks like now.
Yes. So we're going to fry. Let it fry very well. Get into the oil. Properly. Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll continue with our doings in the kitchen while we join Titi and Tokwe for social media, checking out your responses.
Thank you, Mary. Now, there's always so much to talk about online. But we started the conversation earlier, right, Tokwe?
Yeah, we did.
No, we started the conversation on what you could do or would do for humanity if money was not a factor. Now, we sent out this tweet yesterday and we got a few responses on Twitter and Facebook. If you're not following us, please try and follow us at TVC Connect. Now, this is the post right there. And, it has a very interesting picture of Mr. Moneybags.
I know, right?
Sending coins down from his,
high and mighty
hill of moneybags. I like that image, though. But, it does look, from what we can see people in masks there as well.
Yeah.
And they seem to be drowning inside some kind of flood or something. I don't know. There's a lot of messages in that particular picture.
Yeah.
Now, we have at Lady Loveth, who says, I would build the world's best free kindergarten, nursery, primary, and secondary school.
Aww.
Education
it can never be overemphasized.
Yeah, it can't be. And free schooling.
Free schooling.
When you
that's
think
something that we don't have in our country. Because, when you travel abroad to the UK, for example, your child is entitled to free education up until university.
Yeah.
So it's more or less like as a parent, you have all that time to save to pay for university.
But I know what is going on in my own house right now with regard to school fees and the conversations we're having.
The assignments that they did not
Exactly. Amber Ruby didn't submit their homework yesterday. I almost lost it, but let's not
go there.
Let's not go there. But school is very, very important. Now, it says here from at Whole Shokwe. Wow. It says here, encourage people not to give up, but money will always be a good motivation any day.
I know.
I'm not sure the angle there.
Not sure.
Not sure either. Not sure.
But yes,
money is a motivation. At Mr. 509383.
Say Abby?
Yeah. He said Abby. That's
Abby?
all. I think he's agreeing with I Create Decor there.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have on Facebook, shall we?
Yes,
a lot of our people saying good morning here. We have Sheo Ismail Alabi saying good morning. Eloho. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Froshle Conrichi. Good morning. Beautiful morning. Quite a few messages there, but we did post it once again on Facebook. Okay. Noni Boo says, get every child off the streets and back in school. Also make the less privileged privileged.
I like that.
If only it was so easy.
I know.
At Terry Paul says, buy food and give to people that are hungry. That is what Nigeria needs now.
I know.
Okay, and I'm not sure the angle of this last one. It says reduce some
family stress. Be shouldering a lot of responsibility, I'm sure. That would reduce a lot of stress around. Probably the person pays for fees, feeding for siblings and siblings' families. I'm sure that's like a firstborn problem.
Now, you have people like, the owner of Tesla now.
Yeah.
You're talking about multi-billionaires, and people like him think of future, they look all the way to the future on some things. But does it feel like they're doing enough for the now? So they're thinking futuristically, they're going to space, thinking of new ideas in terms of solar energy and stuff like that. But what I think about is the today. The people that need the money today. They need healthcare today. They need education today. They need food, just basic food.
Yeah.
There's the World Food Program, and it's amazing the statistics you hear every single day about how many people are living in hunger.
I think you were the one that posted a picture of, I can't remember the country on the group yesterday, that they just hung food.
Yeah.
Did you? You had one.
No, it wasn't you.
Okay, I thought that was really touching. And I'm like, in a country like Nigeria, I think that's something we could get, except for the fact that probably the first few weeks they might steal the food, but eventually when it becomes like a culture, it'll probably be food that it will probably be something people are used to getting. So I mean, if we can, but the problem is, people like Tesla now, they might have started things like this, but the thing is, they can't help everybody. Some countries, our governments need to take responsibility to an extent. The billionaires in our countries need to take responsibility to an extent, because as much as they are thinking futuristic, I'm sure where they live, their own countries, they've done things, but they can't help everybody. That's just the truth.
Very true.
That's just the truth, yeah.
Now, Mary always has a thing or two to add to topics like this, and she likes to go in depth. Mary, have you had an extra thought on what we talked about earlier?
Yeah, you know something. There's something Tokwe said just now that caught my attention, the billionaires. The reality is this. As a billionaire, the money is yours. Everyone has a right to do whatever they want to do with their money. And one funny thing about many billionaires is they actually still give. They just don't do it, you know, publicly. And then there's also something about tax that many people don't realize. If as a billionaire you're giving money, or as a rich person you're giving money, that money you're giving also helps you save tax. Yes, it saves on tax. So giving actually gives you back as well if you're rich. But that's even an aside. The thing is, when you don't have money, what can you give to humanity? There are a few things you can give, but one thing I always say is at least be kind. Just as we were talking about last Wednesday, be kind. Kindness can go a long way. You don't need money to be kind. When somebody is, you know, looking really stuck up, if you can help in one way or the other, you see a child that says, that is begging the conductor, I don't have money to board the bus. And you know you don't have the money to help the child. What do? You can help by lapping the child. You know, little things like that, they go
Then even with regard to education, I know quite a few teachers do like homeschooling for kids in their compound. You know, I know I heard of a particular lady who, she's in a face me and face you kind of compound, and there are about 15 children in that compound as well. So she, in the evenings, just brings out a blackboard in the compound and just starts teaching them, taking them on their lessons, which is, you know, something their parents probably couldn't afford. So that's her way of giving back.
You know something, Titi, it's funny you would talk about this. So people in positions of authority tend to be very selfish. And that's another thing you're robbing people of. You're in a position to help improve somebody's life. But because the person isn't paying you for it, you're not interested. You feel, oh, I have to make all the money in the world. If you cannot afford to pay me, then get out of here. That's also part of what we're talking about. You need to be giving. You need to give of yourself, even if you don't have money. There are many ways to give, really.
All right. Now, that is a great way to wrap this up. I'm going to be working on something on my social media very, very soon. I want you to look out for it. It's a dynamite project. Let's just put it that way. We're going to be taking a quick break, and Wake Up Nigeria continues after this. Welcome. Now, they say when you give a woman a house, she makes a home. Give her ingredients, she makes amazing meals.
Now, when you give the women of Wake Up Nigeria the center stage, we bring you some pretty amazing moments.
Yes, we do. Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? Who runs the world?
Girls, who run the world?
Sorry, I just felt like doing that. It's still the Wonder Women Wednesday show right here, and we have, in just 1 hour, managed to leave even ourselves breathless with what has been achieved here.
Yes, now, and we hope you have plans to stick around for it all. We will be bringing you nothing but top-of-the-line premium content. You deserve nothing but the best after all.
And when you want the best, hey, you better look no further than right here on Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. My name is Titi Layo.
And I am Tokwe Olonio. Now remember to stream the show live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
You can always connect with us with your comments on social media. Just use TVC Connect, and remember our hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC.
Yes, and our app remains available for download on both Android and iOS stores. Now remember that we recommend that you get that, and if you have to move, you can be with us anywhere, any day.
Let's tell them what we have left on the show, shall we? For our musical performance, Afro dancehall artist Christiana Ademuyiwa, who you might know as Rebel, is going to take us away with her song.
Oluwatoyinbo will be taking on a very, very sensitive question on how does your spouse impact your mental health? Is verbal abuse as bad as physical abuse? You definitely want to stick around for this entire conversation.
Before we get into the groove too much, I was going to say, Mary, that looks really cute, by the way. I was going to say, wow. I saw a tweet and it talked a little bit about, well, not a little bit, it hit home with regard to the fact that, you know, most men believe women move on faster than men after a breakup. Did you see that post?
Yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah,
and there was a reply that said that basically the woman had already broken up with you months ago. And she was healing while still in the relationship.
Exactly.
So by the time she actually called it quits,
she has moved on.
She has moved on.
And you know, that's why many men feel women are callous. By the time the woman gets to that point where she wants to deal with you, it's usually because she has gone past reparation stage. Like, there is nothing you want to say or do that can change her mind. So women, on average, are very forgiving. Tolerate, you pamper, you pet, you push,
you manage.
And then there's a part of you already dying slowly that you're ignoring. And then when it does something really exciting, it sparks you up again.
Exactly.
But that dying part is still like,
dying.
the fire is not reaching you, it's ashes now. And then the moment she just wakes up one morning and realizes that I'm done, you think, but you were cool yesterday. It will be something very tiny.
You will not be like, those big ones I did, you ignored it. And then this
it was piling up.
She was breaking up with you gradually.
The way we pile laundry is the way we pile our thoughts as well.
Honestly, I've been thinking about it, and, and it was two guys having this conversation. So I felt we were very kind of insightful of the guy to mention that, hey, the babe had already moved on. Then I remember that R. Kelly's song. Remember R. Kelly's song?
When a woman's fed up.
When a woman's fed up.
You know, when I saw that post, that was what came to my mind.
Should we sing the line? When a woman's fed up.
Seriously, you don't know it?
No.
I'm shocked.
Please, I'm a child, I beg.
There ain't nothing
you can do about it. That's all. That's all you
As in, there's nothing you can. When a woman is fed up, it's only if that woman, like in Africa, when a woman is fed up, they will make her fed up. Because when she thinks she's fed up and wants to walk, is when the family will do family meeting one. They will
find Bible verses to support you.
The man will behave himself for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Then he will go back again.
Then they will now tell you to go to war room.
Yes.
Woman, go to war room. The men don't have their own war room.
Now, I always, when I see posts about guys saying, can you imagine after all I did for her, I'll say, wow, did you go to the war room?
Did you go to
it always causes silence.
I saw a post on Twitter of a man that went to jail for 10 years because he came to beat the lady, the man that his wife cheated on him with. And then this lawyer says that, do you know that you don't actually have to fight these battles? That infidelity is actually a grounds for you to get a divorce. So if you're, all these ladies on Instagram say, oh, my husband did this, my wife did this, you could actually just file for a divorce. And then what got me was he said, don't go fighting for a battle for a public tap.
A public tap. Oh, so that's why you mentioned that public tap with that.
Tap from.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy. Mary.
But the issue of using the D word, and I say the D word because it's something in Nigeria that is like a taboo. D word?
What's D word?
Divorce.
Oh,
yeah,
divorce.
I'm talking about when you say it in some families, in some cultures,
so I have
it's like the D word.
She's about to get married. She has a child. And they've been together for like, 5 years now. And they are getting married in March. And this lady is telling me she still wants to go ahead with the wedding, even though she's not happy about it.
You know what?
The man beating her.
On that note,
let's find this
on that
fact.
confusing note,
I want to find this fact.
Yes, sir.
Where is the fact? Can we find it?
We'll be back with the news.
It's about time for the news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. And President Muhammadu Buhari has finally bowed to several months of widespread demand for the reorganization of the country's security architecture. The president approved the appointment of new military officers to superintend the nation's armed forces. The former service chiefs were appointed on 13th of July 2015. The newly appointed security chiefs include Major General Leo Irabo, who replaces General Abayomi Olorishakin as the Chief of Defense Staff. Major General Atahiru takes over from Lieutenant General Tukura Buratai as the new Chief of Army Staff. Rear Admiral A.Z. Gambo takes over from Vice Admiral Ibok Ekwe Ibas as the Chief of Naval Staff. And Air Vice Marshal I.O. Amao replaces Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar as the new Chief of Air Staff. This is the first time the service chiefs are being replaced since the present administration. The president also appreciated the outgoing chiefs for what he described as overwhelming achievements in maintaining peace in the country. He, however, wishes them well in their future endeavors. TVC News correspondent Siphon Essien takes a look at the profile of the newly appointed service chiefs and what Nigerians are to expect in the coming days.
The former military chiefs were appointed on July the 13th, 2015. After completing an initial 2 years, the president extended their tenure on December the 18th, 2017 for another 2 years, meant to have elapsed in 2019. The reason, according to a statement by the Minister of Defense at the time, Mansur Dan Ali, was because of the ongoing military operations across the country. All the service chiefs except Lieutenant General Buratai joined the service in 1979 and have spent at least 40 years in service. Their continued stay in office attracted a lot of criticisms due to the worsening security challenges in the country. The appointment of the new military chiefs is coming at a time when the services are overstretched due to engagement in multiple theaters and security operations in all the 6 geopolitical zones.
The secrecy of
Kabiru Adamu is a security risk management and intelligence expert. He says the new chiefs have to face the security challenges head-on and implement new strategies.
Security challenges affecting Nigeria. Terrorism is at the forefront of this. Then very recently, banditry came up. And then the other several ones like the secession threat in the southeast, and then, of course, other criminal activities that the military has been involved in. So that would be number one, really.
He believes the issue bedeviling jointness across the services has to be adequately addressed.
The perceived lack of cooperation within the military units, especially the Army and the Air Force, there is a lot of information out there suggesting that there is this lack of cooperation between them. And then the issue of welfare, especially for the frontline soldiers. And then thirdly, the confidentiality of military and other security operations.
The new chiefs are to be promoted and decorated with their new ranks at a ceremony by the president any moment from now. Their elevation will pave the way for the retirement of their seniors and even their classmates. Siphon Essien, TVC News, Abuja.
Welcome back. Now it's about time for us to have some music on this Wonder Woman Wednesday, and we have a female artist. She is Afro dancehall artist Christiana Adimwiwa, someone you might know as Rebel. She's going to take us away with her song titled Durutini. It's all yours.
Oh, that was amazing, Rebel. Thank you so much. There's something really soothing about your voice and definitely a great way to start our morning. But moving on, we have Toju Oluwatoyinbo. Now, she is going to be taking a very sensitive and interesting topic that we already started discussing off air before we go on air. She will be talking about mental health. Now, is verbal abuse as bad as physical abuse, or is it worse? Good morning, Toju. Good to have you here. Hi, I mean, I feel like we just continue from where we started.
I know.
Yeah, but now a lot of people are not aware about verbal abuse being actually a type of abuse.
Yes.
Now, I want for the average Nigerian, I don't want us to give it a definition. I want us to give examples of what would your partner say to you that should let you know that you're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, so the funny thing about verbal abuse is that you might not even know it's happening.
Yeah.
But when someone is constantly demeaning you, talking down on you, correcting you consistently, interrupting you, you're on a roll, you're discussing, having conversations with people, and like, no, actually, but you shouldn't you have, constantly interjecting, then that's already a sign of verbal abuse already. I mean, you can argue, people have arguments in all sorts of relationships, but when it's becoming consistent, when you start getting frightened, when you start feeling controlled, when you start feeling less than yourself, then you're being verbally abused.
Okay. Now, for people in relationships who feel like, okay, I feel like I'm not at my best, and they feel like their partner is the one who makes them feel at their best. Now, how can we enlighten them that, you could feel at your best by yourself. You don't have to be with this partner, because sometimes the problem is they even know, but the coming out or the removing themselves from the relationship is the problem.
You see, one of the funny things about this kind of relationships is that they tend to isolate you. So I'm a very big advocate of do not be in a relationship in isolation. Let your family know, let your friends know, let your mentors know. Because this kind of people also have sweet mouth. It's me and you against the world. Yes. They don't like you. They are hating on us, this and that. Hey, I shall tell them. I will not just take your word for it. Yeah. And so I feel if you have a good support system that can constantly speak to you, eventually you will come to your senses. It might be after 1 or 2 slaps, because verbal abuse at some point might degenerate into or escalate into physical abuse. And so maybe it might take 1 or 2 slaps, unfortunately, for your head to, come together. But I think if you have people that actually love you, a good support system, your mentors involved, older people involved, constantly speaking to you, eventually that would help.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the role therapy plays in this, because some people get to the point where it's already the end. Yes. And now they feel they have low self-esteem. They believe they're the worst possible people on earth. They don't feel they can achieve anything. And we know Nigerians find it very... Some Nigerians don't see therapy as a place to go, or therapists as people to talk to. Now, how can we educate them on the role that therapists play in helping you to build back your esteem?
I really think we should come to that point. There's nothing like God forbid. There's nothing like God. I mean, God will take care of it. You will pray, because I mean, the power of life and death are in the tongue. Yes. So you already even need to create a world within that world and start speaking to yourself what God is saying about you, which is great. But there's a place for psychological input, because you're being psychologically damaged. Yes. Right? So it's very important that you get that objective, neutral, and helpful intervention, if you will. Otherwise, you're going to suffer for a long time, because the effects of verbal abuse last long. Because, I mean, you can remember things that happened to you when you were 4 years old, negative things a teacher said to you, a parent said to you, and now you find out that you're shouting at your child, and you remember, oh my God, this was what my mother said to me when I was 5 years old. Yes. So I think it's very important that you nip things in the bud, because if you just keep sweeping on that, God will take care of it. Yeah. It will show up in an ugly way in the time that you do not want it to show up at.
I'm sure. Now, I'm still talking about verbal abuse. What are the stages? What are the different points that you would get to in a relationship for someone who is at home watching and doesn't think that he or she is in a verbal abusive relationship? What are the things that they should look out for, that when they see, they should know that, okay, I need to check out of this relationship?
I think we've already started touching on them. So when the person hurts you and then draws you in with gifts, for people that are doing sex, make-up sex, and you're like, it's mad though, and then you forget about everything else. Yeah. And then the next time he does it and says sorry, you already know that something is happening. When you're feeling less of yourself, less intelligent, getting depressed, your self-esteem is being ebbed away. And this is where I feel it can even be worse than physical abuse, because you can get so depressed that you feel like taking your own life. Yeah. I mean, you might get bitten, and I mean, the scars heal, and then you move on. But this is worse. So I feel when you start seeing all the signs, your self-esteem is going away, you're feeling less of yourself, feeling like you're not intelligent, feeling like you're not enough, getting depressed and sad all the time, then you need to know that it's time to go. It's time to go.
Yeah. Now the topic still stretches to verbal abuse and physical abuse. Now, at what point does it progress to physical abuse? Is that like are there like stages, or it can just
The
switch
funny
at
thing,
any
it can
time?
happen any time, because even with verbal abuse, you might have met this person and the person was all nice to you, and then suddenly, because I always feel it was there somewhere, they just needed the right pressure point and touch point for it to happen. And you know, thinking about it, the verbal abuser might just be ignorant. The verbal abuser might have been abused as well, so that's what they know.
Yeah.
It can be anybody. So just the same way verbal abuse can start at any time and with any type of person, even an enlightened person. Right? The physical abuse can start at any time, because if you're spewing so much hate and violence from your mouth, at some point your hand is going to want to respond to that because you're filled with negative energy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that can also transcend to the person in the abusive relationship, because at some point you want to get aggressive as well to defend your own self, and then that's when we start hearing all sorts of stories on Twitter and social media. So it's very important. Unfortunately, sometimes the abused person also wants to make up. Feeling that they're the ones that are not doing well. And so they want to do everything to please this person. And unfortunately, you just get sucked in more into this manipulative behavior.
So now, in a case where someone watching feels like, oh, okay, so I do realize that I'm in a toxic or a verbal abusive relationship, and talks to the spouse and says, you know what, I think this is where we are at, and I think you're verbally abusing me. Is it possible for the person to be redeemed? Would therapy fix the person, or you just have to leave the person?
Unfortunately, the abuser is usually not very reasonable. So you can try it, but it's usually not very reasonable. So you can start taking therapy by yourself.
Okay.
Whether the person is there or not, willing or not. And then you will get counsel on whether to get back, whoever will counsel you that, or not get back, or if to bring the person in at some point. Because I mean, like I said, the person might genuinely not know. So if the person is willing, if that willingness is there, then there might be hope for the relationship actually. But I don't advise you to stay in the relationship and wait till the person gets his act or her act.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Toju. There's so much to talk about on this topic, but I'm sure we'll still have you next week. I'm sure you have learned a thing or two on verbal abuse and physical abuse, and you definitely want to learn or go on the internet and research more. Remember, you can watch this much later on our YouTube channel, Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. We'll go on a break. When we come back, a lot more is still here for you on Wake Up Nigeria. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome back. Now it's time for us to talk to our special guest for today. He's one of those artists that you probably didn't see coming, but then boom, he hits the scene and makes some amazing music. He's an Afrofusion singer and songwriter. Buju is in the building.
Hi.
Hey.
What's
and
happening?
the crowd goes wild.
So, you know,
Hi, Titi.
when I first heard your name, Buju, the first thing that came to my mind was Buju Banton.
Yeah.
And so I just wonder, did he influence your name, or it was something you had come up with before even finding out about his existence?
First, I knew Buju Banton existed even before I started making music. My dad used to keep like dancehall and reggae classics. I CDs a lot, and so like it was a thing I was used to, just hearing him like bump dancehall music and reggae music a lot. But for me, Buju is an acronym for Beauty Underneath Just Understood.
Wow. Beauty underneath
Just understood.
Was that also inspired by Waje's words aren't just enough?
No, it wasn't anything like that. I'm a writer, so like I was writing a poem, and I was trying to talk about how I've been singing for a while, and how and everybody thought it was something beautiful, and I just keyed into it and finally understood that I could actually change my life with it. Because at the time, I think I was doing my IT, you know, computer science technology, still in the university and everything. So yeah, it was really sweet for me. So at that point, when I now coined it, I felt like, I could actually do this.
Wow.
All right. So there's a lot that goes into names, but then you must have been impacted by your environment. Now, these two major artists that you featured in two of your past tracks, those are huge influences for even average young artists. But for someone with your skills, writing and production as well, working with Zlatan, working with Burna Boy, what sort of impact had they had on your impression of music?
Firstly, Burna was more like a mentor to me before I even met him. You know, before I even started making music, you know, it was like 2012 was the first time I ever listened to Burna Boy. And since then, like, I've been not just a fan, a stan. I think it's like, I was in SS2
Okay.
Yeah. High school. Yeah, 11, still fresh and everything. So yeah, it was then, and since then I've been really tight with Burner's sound because like I felt like he was doing amazing. And then when I started making music, like I was aiming to almost sound like him, and that's why like I pitched under his genre, Afrofusion. And you know, 2019 was a really huge year for me because like I think that was the year I went viral for singing on a Kano, and then like everybody was getting in the hang of it, like, oh, who's this guy? And then I recorded like a little snippet of a song I was about to put out titled Spiritual. And I put out the snippet and I tagged it on Twitter. I really need the verse from Zlatan. This was because my friends were, while I was playing the song in the background, my friends were like hyping it, like, yeah, you know, all the ad-libs and everything. So it was really nice. And I'm like, rah, okay, let me take a video of this. So I took a video and I put it up on Twitter, and it was doing rounds, and everybody kept tagging Zlatan, like, yo, go listen to this. And in 3 weeks, like, Zlatan posted it up on his Instagram, like, yo, your fans have been persistent for 3 weeks, and I love the song, so send it over. So I sent it over, and like, he jumped on it, he sent it to me, he's like, rah. It was amazing for me, because I was like, nah, I could not even imagine it, because at the time, Zlatan's like top 5 still, you know, biggest artist popping, and he's everywhere. So I couldn't even imagine the amount of people that were trying to get him on records, you know. So yeah, for him to actually do Spiritual, it was amazing, and you know.
So with Spiritual on the side, how did you get Burna Boy on Lenu?
Okay, so this was amazing, yeah, because after I dropped Spiritual, like I went on to drop like 2 other records, Lenu and Ohima. So I dropped Lenu, and Lenu was just one of these records that I'd play after performing Spiritual, you know, so yeah. But it was lucky in December, I think Burna was in the country, and when I met him, this is what he told me. He's like, yo, I heard your song while I was out partying, and he's like, it made me feel like I was floating. So it's like, and he's like, you know, like, it's like, I asked like, who sang this song? I was like, nobody knows. Everybody around is like, we don't know. Okay. It's like, he said in the club they played the song 4 times. Wow. So that was how bad he loved it. So it made me feel like I was even playing with this record. So like, how is that the record that really made you? Now it made me feel very special about everything, and I was really gassed because he was someone I looked up to, like, musically and you know, everything. So yeah, for him to actually now resonate with the record like that, and then call me over and all.
All right.
It was amazing.
So honestly, that story, there's probably so much more to that story and how you went into the studio and so much more. But let's touch on So Lovely. Just came out, what, a month ago?
Yeah. Came out December 3rd.
Yeah. All right. Talk to us about that.
It's been a long hiatus of since Lenu. I really didn't put out anything, like, except a couple features and that. So Lovely was this record like I made sometime in like September, you know, during the pandemic and everything. So like I was just freestyling with my producer in the studio. So I made the record. It's that record I wanted everybody to feel a lot of confidence. That you could move up to anybody and talk to anyone, you know.
Now we have a clip that we would like to show you so you know exactly who we're talking about. There's no way you don't dance to this song. You just have to move to it.
We were talking about what Lenu has done for his career, and he says it's been amazing. But you know, when we talk about careers, especially post-2020, even though the pandemic is still on, the question usually being asked is, what effect has the pandemic had on your career? Has it been positive? Has it been negative? Or has it been, come see, come sad, just there?
Well, it was a big squeeze of sweet, bitter mixed with.
How so?
Know. Okay, so like the sweet part was I got to really channel personal stuff. Like, it's like with my music, I was really out there on a level of, you know, just trying to catch every vibration, but I was paying attention to me now and what was happening to me, like around me, a lot more. And so like it was telling in my music, in the songs like I was recording, you know. And on the bad side, a lot of things had to stop and slow down. You know, like it's like the shows that you played before were not coming in because you can't have as much crowds. You know, it's like you can't necessarily go to where you're supposed to go to push certain things in quotes, you know. And that was just a little bumpy road with it. And, you know, although, like, it also had its bright sides, trust me, because, yeah, at that point, if you put out music, you were sure that people were going to listen to it because, like, they were in.
At home, they were bored.
Yeah, do you understand? So, yeah, it was one of those things that it helped me realize, like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is what it is, and this is how you should be managed in some kind of way. But yeah, it's been blissful regardless.
So let's get the numbers on the streams now. So the streams for Lenu, how many streams so far?
Amazing. Yo, Lenu's doing over 20 million streams, like, in all platforms.
20
but, like,
million, wow.
Spotify's like 5.8, Apple Music 5 point something.
Amazing.
What's the name? Audio Mac, YouTube, and all that.
That's really good. That's some cash.
Trust me.
That's some cash. That's some cash. That's some cash. And you know, okay, so your song talks about Ota Lenu, and you know, that's actually a Yoruba word. Yeah. But you're actually from Akwa Ibom. How do you manage to speak Yoruba so well?
Mary, we're gonna have to speak that Yoruba when you taste the food.
Yeah, because
let him come taste the food.
Yoruba meal. Let's head to the kitchen. Yeah, let's. So you tell me how you learned to speak Yoruba so well.
Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the kitchen. I hope you came with a large appetite. Sorry.
I haven't eaten actually.
Please take a seat.
Huge appetite, more like.
Chef Blossom here was co-chef with Mary.
All right. So talk to us a bit about
tell us what's happening here.
Yeah, so this is Chef Blossom of Blossom Sports, and she made breakfast this morning. Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is ayamase sauce. Yes, popularly known as a designer stew. Yeah, mostly for the Yorubas, but mostly eaten by almost everybody now. Yeah. And this is the ofada rice to go with and diced plantains again.
You are looking like. Okay, can we just quickly start this?
Can we like just taste already? All right, here you go. So have a taste and tell us what you think.
It's hard. I feel like it's hard.
It was cooked from the scratch here, by the way. From scratch. Everything in there.
I hope you've not eaten ofada before.
No, you can't grow up in Lagos and not eat ofada now. Bagada boys. Don't joke on your meal.
I beg you.
Rate 1 to 10. What's your rating?
It actually slaps.
It slaps.
Amazing.
Okay.
Trust me, when I say it slaps, I mean it's amazing. Trust me.
Thank you.
I really love it. Trust me.
All right.
You like?
It's hot.
It's hot.
Trust me, it's hot. It's
The
amazing.
pepper is right. It's just right for what we need, especially on a Wonder Woman Wednesday. Yay! So we have had a blast. Hopefully you've had a blast as well. Now we're going to be back again 7 a.m. tomorrow, y'all, with more flavor.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.